Oh dear, the community might be divided on this one. How can you choose? People, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 versus Capcom vs. SNK 2. Which is the better game? Right now, everyone watching the video just said, oh shit, this one is gonna be too close, too tough. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give my opinion on some of the categories, then you can finish it off with the overall. I'll let you guys decide the winner on this one, but I'll give my intake too. 2D GOATs going at it. You know how we do, we're gonna break it down into 5 categories. Let's go. Gameplay. Now between Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and SNK vs. Capcom 2, which one has the better gameplay? And to be honest with you, it just comes down to your preferred style. For instance, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, if you prefer the faster gameplay, bigger sprites, hyper combos, delayed hyper combos, 3 people jumping in and out of the screen, you're getting juggled for an eternity, specials covering the entire screen, an insane roster, then you'll probably go for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But if you prefer the more less over the top, grounded one-on-one fighter, then you'll probably go for Capcom vs. SNK 2. It all depends on your preference. For me personally, I'd go with Capcom vs. SNK 2. I liked that style better. I think it had a lot more to offer. Of course, the 6 grooves allowing you to play all 48 characters completely differently. Of course, you have the ratio of battles. You can do 3-on-3, 1-on-1 if you want to. Another rare, insane roster. You can experiment with all different characters with the different grooves. There was a lot going on here. This game was awesome, an unforgettable game. I'm going with Capcom vs. SNK 2. If you went with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that's fine. Like I said, this is so tight, it's gonna come down to personal preferences. Either way. Best roster, damn. First of all, let's start off with Capcom vs. SNK 2, and let me say from the jump, this is one of the best rosters in any fighting game. Not only is this a rare roster, this is a who's who in the Street Fighter and SNK universe. For God's sake, you got Eagle from Street Fighter 1, wow. And of course, you got all the top stars of each game. Terry representing Fatal Fury, Kyo representing King of Fighters, Ryo representing Art of Fighting, Honimaru, the star of Samurai Shodown. You also got representations from rival schools, Last Blade. This roster was banging. That's a 10 out of 10 roster. Of course, a couple of hidden evil characters made the total 48, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had 56 characters. And again, this is a who's who in the Capcom universe and Marvel universe. Characters from Resident Evil, Mega Man, the X-Men, the Marvel superheroes. This roster was insane. So yes, another tough choice, but hey, I'm gonna go with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 here. A bigger roster, much bigger stars. Obviously the Marvel characters have been around forever, so they're obviously much more popular than the SNK characters. They have more of a fan base, bringing you more of the appeal. Someone like a Thanos and Iceman are way more popular than most of the SNK characters. So yeah, Marvel, again, both rosters were great, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for me as the best roster. Best graphics. Now I think both these games looked pretty cool. Good animation, decent sprites. Of course, Marvel vs. Capcom had the larger sprites. They both had good backgrounds, 3D backgrounds with 2D sprites. However, certain characters in the SNK vs. Capcom 2, some of the Street Fighter characters weren't redrawn. So they kind of looked out of place, kind of looked a bit iffy. Especially some of the old Street Fighter Alpha models. especially when compared to newer drawn characters. So yeah, we'll have to give the edge to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 just for that reason, and barely. That makes it 2-1 to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now on to soundtrack. Which game had the better music? Wow, tough one, right? You know what, let's play a couple of bangers and we'll decide after. Their best.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Up against banger. London stage.
This is the love we're making. This is the love we're making. This is the love we're making all the time. This is the love we're making. This is the love we're making. This is the love we're making all the time.
Listen closely, approach me, sucker close me. Don't try to treat me like greater than toast me impossible. I cut a sucker in small chunks, make more rhymes than Michael Jordan makes slams. Let's go. Kicking knowledge on a different level. Make some lyrics like the bass with the treble. Take a deep breath, getting funky as my lungs release a solid rhyme. Never stop, so I continue on. With the first word is white, word is born. I made your imperfection out of indulgent fantasy. Take a mind and it's gone. Like me.
Wow. Once again, people, music is subjective, but after going through the entire soundtrack of both games, I am going to give it to SNK vs. Capcom 2. I think their soundtrack had more variety. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, good soundtrack, and it was heavily jazz-based. But the Capcom vs. SNK 2 soundtrack had everything. It had jazz, hip-hop, drum and bass, a bit of rock and roll. It was hard. So I am giving music to Capcom vs. SNK 2, making it 2-2 apiece with one more category. And that is, which game is better overall? That includes replay value, everything. Y'all are gonna have to decide this one. But yeah, let's talk about the replay value on both of these games. These games have aged like fine wine. You're gonna be playing these games till this day. Okay? If you're a fan of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you know you've completed the arcade mode like what? 1,000 times to unlock so many characters. You also had the score attack, but the main thing that's going to keep you coming back is the vast variety of characters and team building and coming up with different strategies to play the characters. That's the main replay feature in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the gameplay. A ton load of characters. As far as SNK vs. Capcom 2 goes, you had the boss battles, survival mode, ton load of characters with different grooves, again, team building, strategies. Both games had incredible replay value. So which game is the better game overall? Y'all are gonna have to decide that on the poll. Okay? And that's it. You can't go wrong with either game. But if someone actually put a gun to my head and say choose, I would choose Capcom vs. SNK 2. I don't know, there's something about that game. It's my favorite 2D fighter. Either way, both games are bangers. Which one did you choose, people?